The Senate trial gathers extra evidence precisely because of the higher burden of proof at a trial. That's higher than the House's sort of impeachment indictment phase. And this is something Republicans emphasized when they backed, guess what, more witnesses for the Senate trial of President Clinton.
You never called any witnesses in the House. Why are you insisting on witnesses in the Senate?
Well, that's an important distinction. The threshold in the House was whether or not there was enough evidence to submit it to the Senate for a trial. We were acting like a grand jury. We didn't feel it was necessary to parade witnesses in. Now, having impeached the president, it's over in the Senate where the trial, this is a trial, not a grand jury proceeding, not a probable cause hearing. And we have a tremendous burden.
Why do you need a witness? The whole point that we're trying to make is that in every trial that there has ever been in the Senate regarding impeachment, witnesses were called. The big problem I have, if we don't get to call meaningful witnesses, direct witnesses to the point, is that you're basically changing impeachment. Impeachment in the House is not the trial. You can have 3 days of lawyers talking to each other on both sides, 16 hours of questions, and basically bore everybody to death, talk everybody to death. But when you have a witness who was there, who was engaged in it, who was in the middle of it, telling you about what they were doing and why, it's a totally different case, and it's the difference between getting the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Mr. President, I rise today to call attention to a serious and deeply troubling crisis in our country. This is a crisis of confidence, of credibility, and of integrity. Our nation is indeed at a crossroads. Will we pursue the search for truth, or will we dodge, weave, and evade the truth? I am, of course, referring to the investigation into serious allegations of illegal conduct by the President of the United States, that the President has engaged in a persistent pattern and practice of obstruction of justice. The allegations are grave, the investigation is legitimate, and ascertaining the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the unqualified, unevasive truth is absolutely critical.
I know what people want to do with this case. I know they want to get it over. I know many of them don't want the president to be impeached. But I've got a duty far greater than just getting to the next election. Members of the Senate have said, I understand everything there is about this case, and I won't vote to impeach the president. Please allow the facts to do the talking. Don't decide the case before the case is in. This is an accusatory function here. We're not the trial. The trial's in the Senate. Our job is to find credible evidence if there is warning impeachment from that evidence.
Well, let me ask you, if as Senator Specter said, look, we didn't get the witnesses we want, we didn't get to hear the evidence, and we really didn't get the full trial we wanted.
I assume that Arlen was concerned about the Senate procedures. We did that by majority vote. Had my vote prevailed, they'd have been live witnesses. I would have been prepared to vote for whatever the House managers wanted in terms of putting on their trial. That was not the majority view. There have been 15 impeachments in the history of this country. 2 of them were cut short by resignations. In the other 13 impeachments, there were witnesses. It's not unusual to have a witness in a trial. It's certainly not unusual to have a witness in an impeachment trial. Well, the House managers have only asked for 3 witnesses. I think that's pretty modest. We're going to vote for Bill Clinton.
Those were the impartial judges.
Right.
All right. Well, let me ask you.
Open minds on the Democratic side in this trial, in my view.